Sometimes you come across a clip so ridiculous, so over the top that you just have to hit record. Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal, who, by the way, came to this country legally from India at age 16, is out here raging about ICE raids, sweeping up innocent people as if ICE agents are just out here hunting random citizens for sport. She accuses Trump of authoritarianism, claims that it's an unlawful and unconstitutional administration, and screams that members of Congress were denied access to ICE detention centers. And well, the last part was true. And after I play this clip of Pramila ranting and raving, I'll show you the moment a member of Congress actually was denied access to an ICE facility, and trust me, it's going to warm your heart. This is Andy with TrendingPolitics.com. Hit like, subscribe, and let's tear this apart.
Thank you, Jaime! Thank you, Jaime! Thank you, SEIU! Thank you, labor movement, for always standing up for workers, for immigrants, for our democracy. I have one word for you, and yes, I'm here as the ranking member of the Immigration Subcommittee, but I am also here as a naturalized citizen and a proud immigrant doing immigrant rights in the streets for 20 years before. I have one word for you today. Enough! Enough of these mass ICE raids that are sweeping up innocent people of every legal status, tearing apart families and our communities. Do you say enough? Enough! And the arrests of community members and leaders like the incredible SEIU president, David Huerta. David is a champion of civil rights. He is somebody who is simply standing up peacefully for justice, someone who is one of the best of our country's labor movement. Free him immediately. Enough of the undermining of due process, the blocking of access to legal counsel for the hundreds of people, immigrants who were picked up in LA on Friday. Don't forget that due process is something that everybody in this country gets despite your legal status.
That's right.
There are plenty of places in the Constitution where it says citizen. The due process clause is not one of them. It says person. Every person has access to due process. And the illegal blocking of members of Congress who have gone to conduct their authority to actually have oversight over these ICE detention centers. They are prisons. We have the authority and the responsibility to conduct oversight. And this weekend, members of Congress that represent the LA area were at the detention center in LA and then at Adelanto, and they were denied access to those facilities. And Donald Trump calling out the National Guard unconstitutionally, illegally, without the governor's authorized approval. As Jaime said, that's something that has not happened since 1965. And it's hard to imagine that this time the National Guard were sent out to attack protesters that were exercising their constitutional obligation. Now, I want to say something to you. It is actually in the interest of all American people to stand up for these rights. They know that dividing us is what will make them strong. And they know that when we are united, nobody can divide us. They want to distract you from their power grab for authoritarian power on the backs of working people. They want to distract you from the fact that they are trying to strip people of health care and make Americans poorer and sicker, all so they can give a $5 trillion tax break to the wealthiest billionaires. We say not on our watch. And all of the violence and the escalation is core to the Trump administration's authoritarian playbook. As we see people exercising their constitutional rights to peacefully use their voices to speak out against this injustice, they are being met with tear gas and rubber bullets from this unconstitutional, unlawful administration. And look, even the LA Police Department said that the protests were peaceful before Trump rolled in with military tanks on the streets of Los Angeles. Federal law enforcement from DHS, ICE, HSI, and the FBI, all to crack down on peaceful protesters who were standing up for immigrant workers, who were standing up for the economy of this country, who were standing up for our communities, for our families, and saying, don't tear us apart. We are going to stand united against this authoritarian power grab. I have been working on immigration reform with my friend Jaime, with SEIU, with all these incredible labor unions for decades. We all know that the immigration system is broken and that the American people want a fair, humane system that actually allows people to be able to work, allows people to be with their families, allows people to have the rights that they deserve for keeping our country going, for doing the work that they are doing every single day. And instead, we are villainizing and demonizing them under this president, and that has to stop. David Huerta said it best. He said, we all collectively have to object to this madness because this is not justice, this is injustice. So today we are here to say, free David Huerta!
Free David Huerta!
We are here to say, free the immigrants that have been arrested!
The immigrants that have been arrested!
We are here to say, end the ICE raids!
End the ICE raids!
We are here to say, stand up for our protected constitutional rights to free speech.
That's right.
To due process. To a democracy that works for all of us. Thank you so much, everybody. Let's keep this up because the people united will never be divided. The people united will never be defeated. The people united will never be defeated. The people united will never be defeated.
Before we get into who this Congresswoman actually is, here's the clip I promised. Maxine Waters trying to force her way into an ICE detention center only to get the door slammed in her face. You're gonna love it.
No, I want you to, hello. Congresswoman Waters, I just came to use my congressional authority to check on David.
What is security now called visitors?
Excuse me, I need to get in.
Contact our public apparel.
I need to get in.
I told you you'd love it. Let's talk about who Pramila Jayapal actually is. This woman didn't grow up in some oppressed, underprivileged environment. She came to America legally, attending Georgetown and Northwestern University, built her career on the back of the American system, and now she spends every waking minute tearing it down. She's the classic example of someone who's benefited from America's generosity and now uses her platform to lecture the rest of us about how evil and racist this country supposedly is. She rants about ICE sweeping up innocent people. But let's be clear, ICE enforces federal law. If you're here illegally, you broke the law, period. And if you're shielding people who broke the law, you're the problem. Jayapal's real gripe isn't about due process. It's that law enforcement still dares to do its job in the first place. And while she plays the activist on camera, she knows full well what the consequences of her words are. She talks about constitutional rights, but her policies would destroy them. If someone gets arrested at one of these so-called peace protests and slapped with a felony, which they likely will, they lose their right to vote. They lose their Second Amendment rights. But she doesn't mention that in her inciting comments, does she? Her actions are going to lead more people to lose their rights because her entire argument depends on emotional manipulation, not facts or truth. And she claims to care about the Constitution, but ICE detention centers aren't Guantanamo Bay. They're holding centers for people who knowingly violated immigration law. And she wants to throw open the gates and act like citizenship is just a suggestion. It's not. It means something. It either means something or it doesn't. It comes with laws, responsibilities, and yes, consequences. She yells about members of Congress being denied access to detention centers, trying to paint it as some sort of dark conspiracy, but the truth is, ICE doesn't answer to the loudest voice with a camera. There are rules, security protocols. She knows this. She's just grandstanding, trying to whip up the kind of outrage that gets people arrested in the streets while pretending to be the victim. And let's not ignore the most infuriating part. She talks about them trying to take your rights. Them. Lady, you're one of them. You are the one cheering policies that erode border security. You're the one demonizing law enforcement. You're the one making it harder for American citizens to live safely in their own communities. If anyone's trying to tear this country apart from the inside, it's people like her. This kind of doublespeak and projection is the entire left's game plan right now. They create chaos, then blame the people who are trying to stop it. They talk about human rights, but ignore victims of illegal alien crime, and they pretend to defend democracy while trying to strip away the rights of anyone who dares disagree. So remember this clip. Remember the shouting and the fake outrage and the emotional appeals. Then remember what actually keeps this country safe. Borders, laws, leaders who have the guts to enforce them. This is Andy with TrendingPolitics.com. Stay informed, stay vigilant, and I'll see you next time.